All right. Hi, I'm Kurt. He, him. We should probably go around and introduce each other. We're going to play Lighthearted today. I'll throw it to someone and you throw it to someone else, and that's how we'll introduce each other. So, again, I'm Kurt. I'm running the game. I'm going to be the director, and everyone else here is our cast. Blake, why don't you introduce yourself?
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him. One of the cast. We're still sorting out what archetypes are going to be. Yeah, I'll throw it over to Sarah.
Sarah. Sure. Hi. Toms.
And I am Tomes or Tomer, and I use he, him.
All right. So Lighthearted is a it's a game of 80s nostalgia, neon and magic. We're going to try to tell a cool 80s movie type story with a whole bunch of weird magic stuff going on. In this world, because it's not our Earth, a lot of the trappings are going to be similar to what we remember from the 80s, but they're going to be that amped up 80s, right? Like the Gem and the Holograms 80s or the Weird Science 80s. And on top of that, we have these fantasy elements. The religion in the world isn't any of the religions that we know. Instead, there are the four, which are four beings of light who a long time ago did some stuff, but now nobody really cares about that. They're just the thing you say when someone sneezes or the thing you have to do once a year, like you go to the temple or whatever, and that's how you deal with that, right? But for the most part, religion is only as important as your character feels it's important. So if someone has a character who wants to be religious and worship one of the four, then it'll be an important part of the game. But if not, it's not really going to come up all that much, except for the part where the antithesis to those four gods, the four gods are Magus, Celestia, War, and the Traveler. The antithesis to that is the darkness, which is sort of this shadowy entity that wants our world for whatever reason. It's not really clear. It's not clear to your characters, and it's something we'll find out and is kind of going to be up to each game, right? What the darkness wants. But all of your characters are going to be college kids, and you are going to have just come out of high school, or I don't know what other countries use for high school. But you're about 19. You're just coming out of your young life and transitioning into an adult, and you're trying to get out from under the labels that you've lived with since high school. Those labels being prep, jock, geek, rebel, and outcast. So those are the five sort of archetypes that you're going to choose from for your characters. So the first part of character creation is to choose a clique, which is one of those archetypes. So everybody go ahead and let's have you pick your clique, and that's going to decide what malfunctions you have access to, which are the things that society thinks about you that aren't necessarily true about you. But you can lean on them to do things like gain heart, which is a currency you can spend to re-roll dice and protect yourself from consequences of things that you don't want to happen. It's also going to decide what starting strengths that you have access to. So, the jock is probably going to be a little stronger and the geek might be a little smarter. And it's going to decide what ties you have access to, which are the questions we're going to ask each other to sort of build out our character relationships. So that's the first big decision that you have to make is, do you want to be a prep, a jock, a rebel, a geek, or an outcast?
And there's nothing that says that we have to be all different or something like that.
No, I mean, you can all be geeks. You can all be preps. The only thing that I would worry about is there's not enough diversity, I think. If we had all the same, there would be a lot of overlap.
Right.
I was thinking outcast, if no one else wants it.
Cool.
I'll grab a geek.
What are you thinking, Sarah?
Well, now I want something that'll go well with those two.
Or not go well with those two.
Well, yeah, that.
If you're familiar with,
looking.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, keep talking.
I was just gonna say, if you're familiar with the Breakfast Club, these archetypes are pretty heavily based on the archetypes established in that film.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with Rebel.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a rebel, a geek, and an outcast. All right, a bunch of people that society does not work for, so that's going to be good, and all have different ways of handling it. So once you've picked that, then you're going to go through and you're going to choose malfunctions. So like I said, malfunctions are the things that society, these are the expectations society has for you. And each one has 2 triggers. The heart trigger is the thing that you gain heart when you lean on society's expectations to sort of protect yourself, or keep yourself safe from, looking silly or something like that, right? Or trying to impress people. The XP trigger is when you become more self-actualized, when you get a little more confident, you don't lean so much on what society's expectations are for you. In fact, you probably buck against them, but it probably is off-putting to people that expect you to be in your box. So that's sort of how you gain XP and gain heart.
And you choose...
You're going to pick 3 of them.
3 of them.
Yeah.
And we should have like 4, right?
There's 4, yeah. Each one has 4. And so just put the little checkbox for the one that you want. There are expanded descriptions for these, but they didn't quite fit in the character keeper without making it like 12 miles long. So I might have to find a better way to get people, when we play online, get the like full descriptions on these. All of the rules part of it is visible though. Just the little text that kind of talks about what it means for you. All right. And then if anybody has any questions about any of those, let me know. Otherwise, we'll kick ahead when everybody's ready.
FYI for you big bad con participants, Blake, that'll be you next year. But I got I
need to get my flu shot. I got to go do that tomorrow.
Took just a few minutes. It's starting to feel sore now. That's why I'm remembering.
Yeah.
So I will try not to be a vector.
Good job. Keeping everybody safe.
Remember, fist bumps. Fist bumps save lives.
Yeah. All right. Looks like everybody's picked their malfunction. So if we don't have any questions, we can move on. The next thing you're going to do is pick strengths. So there are 4 strengths there. You get the first one by default. And then you're going to pick 2 more. Now the ones that you get by default, I think are all the ones that boost a trait. So if it says a strength boosts a trait, then you'll do that after you assign your traits.
And say one more time how many of these we're picking.
So you get to pick 2 more. So you should have 3 total. All right. And then when everybody's done with those, I think I might hide some of these that aren't being used.
We went with primary colors.
Yeah. No one picked orange or yellow. No, I want to select. Okay, maybe I can drag this way. All right. I hope that didn't screw up anyone's screen
Yep, it did. You hid mine.
there. I hid yours?
I had yellow.
Dang
Yep.
it.
Primary, Kurt. Primary.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we've got, hold on, we got Tom, Sarah, and then what else was there? Okay, green is not on there. Okay. Thank you.
It's been too long since your kid's been small.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, so after you pick your strengths, if everybody's good, otherwise, or if there's any questions, let me know.
Nope, all good.
Otherwise, the next thing we're going to do is assign traits. So there's a PDF in the folder that I sent that says character creation walkthrough, and it kind of has an explanation of what all the stuff is. If you want to, if you're going quicker than everybody and you want to read ahead, but you're going to assign a D8 to one of your traits and a D6 to 2 other traits, and the rest will be D4. And then if your strength increases a trait, it'll be after you make those choices. So you could possibly have a D10. Or you could flesh one out and end up with a D6 and some other things. All right. I'm going to briefly go over what the emotion spectrum is here, but we're not going to have to make any choices about it right now. I'm just going to explain kind of what it is and how it works. So when you roll dice, you are going to roll a trait and an emotion. The traits you're setting right now, so you have, like, say, Blake, right? Or no, Tomes. You have a D10 in mental. So if you wanted to recall some information, do something smartsy, do something that required book smarts, try to, prove someone wrong with facts, you would be able to roll, you'd be rolling mental. So you would grab a D10 and then you would choose an emotion. The emotion is going to be how you feel about the action. But anytime you enter a scene, you set your emotional state. So say we're at a party and you're a geek, right, Tomes?
Yeah.
Our geek shows up at this party and they are super nervous because they shouldn't be at this party. They didn't get an invitation, but they're like, I'm changing my station. I'm going to the party. I'm going to prove I'm cooler than everybody thinks I am. So they are scared, right? So they would mark blue to say, my emotional state is blue, scared. That's where they're at. Then later on in the scene, if they want to do something like, talk about something they're really passionate about, they might be joyful about that exchange. Or if they want to, say, try to prove someone wrong, they might be heated. They may be upset, right? If you get into an argument. So you're going to choose the emotion when you roll that fits your action. And then the die is determined by how far away it is from your emotional state. So your emotional state, the one that's checked, will be a D8. Anything that's right next to it will be a D6, and everything else is a D4. So for instance, if he came in scared and he was feeling happy about his action, he would be rolling a D4. So he'd roll a D10 for his mental and a D4 for yellow for joyous, and keep whichever die was higher.
Well, if you fail or succeed, you then move your emotional state?
So whenever you roll, regardless of whether you succeed or not, you move your emotional state one towards the die, the emotion you rolled.
Yep.
So you're going to slide back and forth along this thing through the course of a scene. If you ever have to roll your emotional state, you're going to mark stress because that emotion is becoming more heightened. And it shows that, like, you're having trouble calming down, or you can't get get past this, right? Like you can't stop smiling, whatever the emotion is, right? If you would ever mark stress on an emotion, but you can't, then you take a condition. So for instance, say your emotional state was yellow because you're happy because you just can't stop smiling. You've already marked stress on that. You roll it again, you're going to have to take a condition. Well, maybe you mark a condition on violet because there's no way you could be unfeeling. You're too happy. Like you are too invested in what's happening. There's no way you're going to be able to calm down. And you're going to put like, I don't know, giggling under violet, right? Like there's no way. So when you mark a condition, you lose access to that die. So that's kind of how emotions work and how they sort of feed the whole condition thing. So everybody got their traits picked?
Yep.
All right. Next step is to create a bond. Where are we at time-wise? Awesome. So everyone's going to create a bond. This is a secondary character or an NPC, non-primary character, because I've avoided saying players in the game, because we're all players. We're all playing the game. So you're going to create an NPC that you have a connection with. This should be someone that your character has like a strong connection with, and you're going to pick an archetype. I don't know if I gave what the archetypes mean to you guys.
Where are you supposed to be writing this?
So on the sheet there, down towards the bottom, there's a section that says create a bond. It's below ties.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and then just in the big open area, you can fill that in. And so what you need for your bond is a name and a description, just kind of what they look like, and whether they are an anchor, a BFF, a criminal, a lover, a mentor, or a pedestal. And kind of what those mean, the anchor is like a negative relationship, someone that's dragging you down. That might be like your friend who got into some bad stuff and they keep getting you into trouble. It could be someone who's just not as ambitious as you, however you see them as an anchor, right? And then, so let's see. So that's the anchor. BFF, just a positive relationship. They'll be there if you need them. So if you call on your BFF, they will show up and do what you need. A criminal is someone who can get you access to illegal things. So like, your drug dealer or your uncle who's a fence, whatever. The lover is a positive romantic relationship. So someone who you are in a probably physical romantic relationship with. And it's not like a negative relationship. Like you're not constantly fighting. There's no imbalance in who's in charge of the relationship. And the like mechanical benefit you get there is that they can help you clear emotional conditions. The mentor is someone you can go to for advice. So maybe like a teacher or another player, maybe even just a senior, like an older classman, or it could be a mentor into something that's not good, right? Like maybe it would normally be a criminal, but because they're teaching you how to be a criminal, now they're a mentor. So you go to them for advice and then you have +2 when you follow their advice. And the pedestal is another negative relationship, except the thing is flipped. So you hold them higher. It's another imbalanced relationship. Both of the imbalanced relationships, basically whenever you do something for them or drop what you're doing to help them, you gain heart. And all that is in the book, but I should definitely put it in the little character creation thing under bonds. And then once we know who everybody's bond is, there's a little tab here for NPCs. If you want, you can grab a picture and we can put their picture in there, or we can put a little description there too. And then we're going to want to know who you are. So once you've got your bond, then you'll write down your name, presentation, like your pronouns, and whether you present, masculine, feminine, whatever you want to put there. And then your style, which is like, your clothes and general attitude. And then if you have any idea for a backstory, which we don't really need, you can put something there too. And there are name lists, but they're not here. So let me paste them in the chat because they're not in the thing. So I should make a tab for all this stuff, but here's like a list of names in the Zoom chat. If you need help with that. Nice. All right, so I should go through and see what everybody picked. Right. All right. So everybody has, let's see, we got a music teacher, criminal, and Shruti, a teacher's assistant. All right. So once we got that, we can kind of move on to, oh yeah, that's right. You guys are working on who you are. I think once we finish character creation and we kind of know who everybody is, probably be another 20 minutes. We'll take like 10-minute break.
Okay, I put a picture of my character in the shared drive.
It is not loading.
What if I can do it this way? Where's that?
Did you put the URL in the little image URL thing, or?
I just put it in the chat then.
Oh, in the chat. Okay, yeah. Perfect.
Lovely.
I love this guy. This guy's great. All right, let's see. Can I just copy this link in there? So you should be able to put, oops. It might not like that one. Yeah, it always hates Google Drive links. Let's see if I can get the. Let me see if I can do some investigating here and find out what the actual link to this file is. And they really hide this thing, don't they?
I was about to start typing a tragic backstory, and I thought, no, we're not going for that this game.
That's okay. We know what he looks like. I love the Jerry girl. All right. Everybody got their sort of look, or are we still working on that? I have some example stuff for style too. Here, let me paste that in the thing. So something else about this setting is there are glamours, permanent glamours, which sort of take the place of plastic surgery, but it means you can kind of look like whatever you want if you have enough money. They're pretty expensive though. So if you don't have rich, they might look a little cheap. But you could totally have like, cat ears or, a tail or horns or whatever. It just might look a little cheap.
I just saw the photo of your person. Like, is this somebody's actual high school portrait?
Oh, there's an Australian musician called Craig McLaughlin. He was in like local TV shows, and he did a few one-hit wonders, but he's famous for having a mullet that didn't change for like 10 years.
Nice. Yeah, that hair is perfect. All right, let's see if there's anything else I need to explain. Do you have anybody have any questions?
The chosen bit? It's got chosen in class or something?
All right, so let's talk about what the chosen are. So in this setting, there are some people are chosen when they are exposed to dark magic. They get chosen by the light to try to help push back the darkness. You can get chosen by any of the four gods in the setting. People that are chosen by war are great athletes, and they're a little stronger and faster and better fighters. People that get chosen by the traveler can kind of just show up where they need to be, and they're good at getting out of situations. People get chosen by magus are better at magic than most people. They get like a little wisp familiar. It's kind of rare. These are rare things that happen in the world. And then people that get chosen by Celestia are prophets, and they are, most of our politicians are probably prophets, or at least they say they are, but they're pretty good at gauging a crowd and knowing how they're going to respond before they say what they do. So if you end up being chosen, when you come into contact with dark magic, then you can gain these abilities.
Oh, so we don't choose this at the start?
So that's something that you can do different depending on the game. I think it's fun to have it happen organically, like when you guys, come up against a dark mage and someone tries to punch it, well, that person gets chosen by war. If someone tries to throw a spell, they're probably getting chosen by Magus, that kind of thing. But it's a choice that the table can make, like if they want to start being chosen or find it through play. If everyone wants to start with one of the being chosen by one of the 4, then we can go that route.
I'm happy either way.
That's a great picture. What's that from?
It's from it's somebody's version of the D&D cartoon.
That's what I was going. Okay, yeah, it looks like the little wizard kid from the D&D cartoon. Yeah. Awesome.
So when it says like, who did I live with for a week when I ran away? Am I choosing another player, or am I just making up an NPC? Or
so you're asking the table, and one of them will answer.
Oh, okay. So we haven't done ties yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you do ties, you ask one of your questions to the table, and you're free to edit it if you don't like a piece of it, or you want to write a fresh one. However, the way that this sheet is made, if you try to type over one of them, it kind of borks the sheet. So just if you want to use a different one or want to edit one, make a note in the PC box below it. And then one of the other players will answer the question like, oh, I did. And usually there's a follow-up to the question that they also have to answer. So when everybody's ready, we'll have everybody kind of introduce their character, and then we can do ties.
Sarah's making me drink.
Peer pressure. What is that? Looks like fancy beer.
Jameson?
Dow's 10-year tawny port.
Wow,
Okay.
it's fancy.
Of the cheaper ports, this one is the most delicious. I even have this fancy looking glass. See, look, Glenlivet. You get these at thrift stores for $2.
Nice.
Oh my God. Oof, I haven't had that in so long. It's so good. Thanks, Sarah.
Does everybody know who they are and kind of what their deal is? All right. Well, let's go around and everybody just introduce your character, and then we'll do ties. That way we kind of have an idea of who people are, so we know who to ask, who can answer questions. So let's start on the left here with Tomes.
Okay. So I will be playing Gael. He's an 18-year-old kid. Probably he's actually of the age, I think he probably skipped a grade, which is, I think he came in here just just turned 18. And kind of like just messy, a little bit kind of wavy hair. So it's a little bit long now, now that he's not at home and his parents don't make him, keep it organized or short. He doesn't really have that much money and stuff. It's just kind of growing, but it's not stylish by any means. He's got glasses. Most of his clothes are kind of either like older things or, from thrift stores, but not like in any kind of styly way. It's just like, you can tell everything's just a little bit ratty. I think he's relatively clever. He's always been really good at some of the school stuff. He doesn't really try to show it off, though. It's more that he's been kind of pushed around. He's always been like the smaller kid in his class. And in addition to being kind of younger, he also, I think, had like maybe some kind of like, not super serious, but a heart condition. So he couldn't really do like all the sport activities and stuff. It's always prevented him from kind of like being able to play with the kids, right? So he's become this little, you know, kind of pushover and worried about kind of getting bullied, and because that stuff's happened before. And he's also not super socially, like he's a little bit awkward about all that stuff. And then the bond that I created was with the teacher's assistant in some of whatever classes I think I'm kind of focused on. And her name is Shruti. I think she's maybe like 1 or 2 years older than me. And I think when we were in like high school or something, like our parents made her take me to one of the dances, you know, like I was younger, but I think our parents were friends or something like that. So it's a little bit weird and awkward in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she, you know what I mean? Like it's.
Is this like a pedestal relationship where you kind of put her up on a pedestal?
I think a little bit. I mean, definitely in some ways.
Or is it not a negative, or is it more of a mentor? Like they're helpful to you?
I think at this point, like maybe she's starting to see that I kind of know what I'm doing, but I still kind of act weird and awkward. And so she probably thinks that like I like her or something, which may or may not be true, but you know, because of that weird background, like it's just kind of weird.
Okay. So we'll call that a pedestal for now, and then we'll see how
Sure.
it shakes out. All right. Well, cool. Good to meet Gael. That is a great name. I had to spell it phonetically so I don't forget it.
It's my nephew's name. I'm borrowing.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
borrowing real people's names.
Sarah, do you want to introduce us to your character?
Yes, I'm playing Joe, not Joseph. 18, but probably like on the older side. I don't think he was like held back, but maybe he didn't go into school as early as he really should have.
Okay.
Yeah, always wearing like the same leather jacket, like summer and winter, just layers on underneath. You need to. Hair usually slicked back, sometimes not, but he puts a lot of effort into looking rumpled. And yeah, I think he's sort of trying to climb out of high school in a way. He's still got a friend who like just got out of jail and technically doesn't go anymore, but she still shows up for business and like they still kind of hang out.
Okay.
And just because it's familiar, I think. But he's trying to get into other things. Not sports.
Okay. So trying to get into other things, but not sports.
Not sports.
All
but
right.
I think he can run pretty well.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So we've got Joe the rebel who puts a lot of effort into looking rumpled, and Amelia the criminal, who is an old high school friend. All right, cool. Blake, do you want to introduce us to your character?
Yep, I've got Zach the outcast. He's a music art kind of guy. He plays the keytar. He wears denim jacket and pants, and they've got some Bon Jovi lyrics scrawled on them in big black texture. He's got a mullet. He looks up to his music teacher, who's Melissa. Just picture Pat Benatar, and that's pretty much her. And he's not sure if he wants to be like her or he wants to be with her.
Okay. So do we think this is a mentor then still? Okay.
Yes, but it could go the way of pedestal if, yeah.
You could turn your mentor into a lover. I mean, you could try anyways.
Or I might get an injunction and have to get a new one. I don't know. But yeah, I think he had it before he finished high school. So she's been with him during a sort of transitional phase. So that's why he's kind of clinging to her in some way.
Yeah. Well, he's 18 now. I mean, what?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's see. So we know that, so we've got Zach with an epic mullet who plays the keytar and looks up to Melissa Benatar. Let's see. I gotta write epic mullet and keytar here. Does he have his keytar on him all the time?
Oh, I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a case. Is it in a case or does he just like have it out?
I'll probably just like a zip bag.
Okay, just rocking this keytar all the time. I can't remember. Does the shape of a keytar look? It doesn't look anything like a guitar case, right? Like it couldn't be mistaken for a guitar case. Okay, that's all right. The keytar is definitely the coolest instrument. All right. And that's our outcast. Awesome. So now that we kind of know who everyone is, let's go through and do ties. So you'll each read off 2 ties. So you have 1 pair with each other person. And if you want, because no, I think 2 is going to be good because it'll take a little bit of time and then we can take our break. So let's do the same order. So we'll start with tomes and just pick one and read it and we'll go all the way through once and then we'll come back around and do it again.
All right, so let's see here. Oh man, this one's so tempting. Yeah, you know how to write them, Kurt. Who played Dungeons and Darkness with me? Then why did they quit?
I think I did. As much because, you know, the cool kids weren't doing it and I never fit in with them. I quit because I couldn't commit to something that wasn't music practice because music is the main thing I give a crap about, basically.
Awesome.
Because of music. Did I try to convince you to just play the bard? But it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I wanted to sort of play music as we're gaming and it just clashed too much.
Cool.
People complained like my keytar was interrupting their D20s and...
You don't have to play a full song every time you cast a spell, man.
I do, man, I do.
All right, Sarah.
How many of these are we doing?
You're going to do
my
2.
favorite now, or okay, great. Who surprised me by posting my bail? Do I still owe you?
Whoa. And these don't have to be PCs. They could, like, we're answering the question.
You're answering the question. It's usually a
be
PC because it's kind of how you know each other. But if you want to be like this X person, but I'd like it if you could work your way into the situation somehow.
It should be PCs in some way. Okay.
Yeah. And it is a surprise.
I think me, I might have done some sort of gigs on the side and I had some cash and I already had my keytar, so I don't need anything else in life. So yeah, that's out.
So it sounds like I probably still owe you if you gave me all your money.
But I'm not stressing about it because, again, I've got my keytar. I'm good.
Nice.
Do you busk?
I think I probably do like gigs for college campuses and, you know, houses and stuff.
Perfect. All right. Blake, that's you.
Oh,
I guess they're calling
they're all good. Oh, okay. This is different. Who was with me when I got sucked into another dimension? How was I changed there?
Oh, shit.
No, I'm thinking maybe I was playing some music or whatever, and that set off some sort of magical thing, not deliberately. And you know, it may have been 5 minutes.
We can go full die RPG here.
I'm not familiar with that reference.
That die RPG is just basically this recent graphic novel, whatever. That's basically the D&D cartoon, right?
Okay.
You were playing Dungeons and Dragons and you got sucked into another world story,
nice.
Right? Sarah, do you have anything for it, or should?
How you changed?
Because I mean, I could probably.
It would kind of make sense if you guys were playing essentially D&D and then something happened.
Yeah, I think
you want to go that way.
Yeah, and like specifically like this game, I think maybe it started coming out a little bit before. I think it didn't fully understand how magic does work. So it's kind of still playing with magic in some like hokey way. And so I think we accidentally did a thing, right? Like we accidentally cast some kind of portal when we were just kind of like LARPing the scene or something.
You
right?
trying to make it
Maybe
more
it was
realistic
during
and
that super blood moon from a couple of months ago. It was sort of during that night or something.
I think it was during that night, and I think like I was like the dungeon master or whatever, or the darkness master, and I went and like I did some research, right? Like I grabbed a book and I was like, ooh, I want to like make this feel like a cool, like that was my prep, right? But it turned out like some of the prep was like real magic shit, and maybe this is where I started to understand that I have, some skill in that craft, right? But the question was, how did I see you change? Is that right?
yeah. How was he changed?
I think maybe, do we think maybe some kind of like, you got affected by some kind of darkness or something? Like accidentally, like we did this portal, we ended up in this weird kind of Fey realm thing, but like some creepy crawly spirit creature like looked like it kind of went into your body partly or something like that. And you have this kind of like dark aura that's kind of connected to you, and we don't know what it is. Maybe you don't even realize it's there.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, Kurt, if that's all good.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I feel like I should explain what the tempted are. So in this setting, the darkness came back about 40 years ago, offering gifts of knowledge and really powerful magic. And a bunch of people who were trying to win a war went ahead and took those gifts and cast the 2 biggest fireballs they'd ever cast. And it changed our world about 40 years ago. And anybody who is sort of exposed to dark magic and takes the gifts are called tempted, because it's kind of addictive. Like, right, once you start to use this dark magic, it's a little bit more powerful than normal magic. It's a little bit more exciting. It sort of wants you to keep going, and so you can become tempted, and then it's a condition that you take. And then whatever emotion you put it on, that's your dark magic emotion now that you roll. And dark magic isn't restricted by all these other things where it's like the different colors match up to things. It does whatever it wants. So when you are tempted, there's also like PSAs, kind of like the DARE campaign, like saying, don't be tempted. If you see something, say something, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you think he's tempted, but I don't know if it hasn't manifested.
I think I saw the thing go into him, and like nobody else saw it, or maybe there was no one else there, right? So I kind of always see that slight bit of like dark aura hanging out in the back, and I don't know if I've seen it manifest in any way yet. It's just kind of like, I don't want to report anything because he's like a friend, right? Or was, or whatever, before he became too cool to play my D&D game.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay,
once
cool.
You got
so
that keytar.
That was a good question. So we're back around to the top. So
oh, yes.
Gael.
Oh, interesting. Oh man, they're all good.
Well, I took the last 2 for each of them, so really they should just sort of find one for each other.
Yeah, you're just gonna trade.
Yeah. Oh well, no. I was gonna see if one of these could work for. What's your character's name, Sarah? Oh, Joe. Just Joe. Oh man. So there's like the boy next door, the high school crush, the secret, and the one that saved me from an experiment. Like, I mean, they're all good. I don't know. Do any of them sound like one you want
I kind of like the experiment one. I
Okay,
don't
so
know
who saved
what
me
kind
when
of
one of my
experiment.
high school magic experiments went awry?
Hmm. I wonder if it was an experiment you were trying to do on what's his face?
On Zach or on my
Zach, like after he came back
Oh
from his happy
yeah. No, that
place.
sounds great. Yeah. I think that going into the D&D, like that time we did that thing was the first time I ever actually did a magic, right? And then after that I was like, oh, I've got to fix this.
Mm.
So yeah, no, I think that sounds perfect.
And you're very like smart and maybe investigative. Like you would want to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So what was this experiment?
You said he came back with some kind of aura that maybe he couldn't see, but you could.
Maybe it's some kind of like pseudo exorcism thing.
How does Zach feel about that, since this also involves your character?
Yeah, that's all fine.
Do you think I was upfront and honest with you about it?
You might have said, "Hey, let's work on a song together," or something, and you're all going to sing it. But it's actually a ritual or something.
Oh man, that's rad. Yes.
And then Joe saved you when it went awry.
So how did it go awry?
Maybe I just sort of wasn't paying attention because I was into the sort of the moment, and I got burnt, and the dark spirit or whatever took over, and I got violent, and they did something to stop that. But I've just blanked it all out, sort of thing.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. That gives us this experience that Joe and I had that you don't even know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, have we like told you about it and you don't believe it? Or have we not told you about it? That might be worse.
Ooh, and it does say how you saved me. So I think Zach like was gonna hurt me. Like not knowingly, but like whatever took over your body, which I think that was how my experiment went awry. It's not this dark thing that's in you. I think whatever I tried to do actually made it worse, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really know exactly how. So maybe it was that this thing got power that it didn't have. Maybe it was something else. I have no idea. But yeah, maybe you were going to, maybe you were like, do you think you were, okay, I don't know, Joe, like, were we hanging out together, or was this more like, I did this thing on Zach, Zach's after me, and I ran and like, kind of like, down.
I was kind of imagining it happening maybe at the high school, like after school, and maybe I like had detention or something, so I was there at the same time. And I was just going home and happened to pass the room that you were doing this in, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I like it.
Keytar guy's gonna beat up that nerd.
And I had to do it at school because like it's not like you have all this magic stuff at home, right? Like,
oh yeah.
You know, it's like lab equipment and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. I love it.
Awesome. That's so cool. Okay, cool. So that was Joe. Let's hear yours.
Oh, right. I guess I have to do the magic one now, which is great. Oh, this might. Who did I unexpectedly stick up for? Had you seen anyone use magic like that before?
I mean, that
the easy one
directly fits with.
Yeah, but let's see.
But it does establish that you used magic in a way that maybe Gael hadn't seen before, if that was the situation.
That was probably the first time I'd ever used magic, I imagine.
Like you didn't pay attention in thaumaturgy in high school?
I probably flunked it. Slept too much.
Yeah.
All right, what's thaumaturgy again? Because I can never remember all those like spell.
Oh, in D&D, it's like
rules.
the small stuff. Like you can make noises
Little
and
flames and things.
thunderclaps.
In this
birds.
thaumaturgy is like it's just the channeling of light into energy. So like if you say you work an office job where you have to do something with magic, like you would just follow the formula and just use your thaumaturgy to like, funnel some magical energy into whatever thing you had to do, for 8 hours and then go home. It's the boring stuff that they make you figure out. Yeah.
Okay.
Data analyst.
So are you choosing that
If
one? Is it
it's-
the who did I unexpectedly stick up for? That one?
Yeah, like stuck up for is maybe not quite the right wording, but we can make it work.
Right.
Yeah, and if magic is inherently tied to light, maybe I just like pulled the darkness out or off of you, Zach, or changed it, or I fixed that problem for you. You're welcome.
And maybe you distracted it long enough to, lose energy and go back into my body or whatever.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
You strobe lighted it away.
Yeah. you shot a Patronus at it and it went back.
Basically.
Awesome. Okay. Zach gets one more.
Oh. Who understands the genius of my favorite band, Bon Jovi? Would probably help if you're actually familiar with Bon Jovi.
I can take this one. I personally know nothing about Bon Jovi.
Oh no.
That's right. We can just say we've listened to them from time to time.
Yeah.
Sort of chill out session.
Cool.
Is it Bon Jovi or is it some local band that is like the local version of Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi
I
cover
think it's
band.
both.
Yeah. Because let's see, when did Bon Jovi really hit? Like when did they get really? Because they're from Detroit or no?
Yeah, New Jersey.
New Jersey. That's right.
I'm pretty sure Superman was 84. So
yeah. I remember my uncle telling me he saw Whitesnake at a house party in Torrance in like 83 or something like that.
Yep, here we go.
I had a Whitesnake album.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So Bon Jovi is you both understand the genius of Bon Jovi.
Yeah. So if things are getting to us, we'll take a double deck tape recorder up to the hill and play some Bon Jovi and just sort of chill out for a bit.
I like it. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that ties. So we kind of know how you guys know each other. Let's see if let me see if anything came out of that I think I kind of know what is gonna be our primary like conflict for the session based on what we've learned. Let's see. I have a couple questions. So do you guys all live in like the dorms?
Yeah, I think so.
I know the real El Camino doesn't have dorms if you're familiar with the Los Angeles area, but this version does.
LA's got to be awfully expensive.
I mean, it is the 80s, and maybe
that's
it's
true.
like there's probably like a lot of like low rent apartments.
Oh yeah, or
Do we
like
get,
it's
like,
that
a
one
warehouse
apartment
or
building
something?
that rents to students.
Totally. the Melrose Place of the time.
Yeah, perfect.
10 years before all the rich, pretty white people moved there.
Yeah. Pre-gentrification Melrose Place.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you guys all live in this like shitty apartment building near the college?
That sounds
Okay, cool.
great.
So that gives me some place. And I think when I come back, we'll start with like a wide shot and we'll do some paint the scene type stuff and find out a little bit about what this apartment building looks like and who's there. But for now, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to open with a wide shot of this apartment building. And I think it's going to be like late afternoon. And it's just like the view from the street. You can see that like the moon is sort of visible already in this like weird hazy sky, and some like we see this just like jumble of apartment buildings with like crap hanging off of the balconies, and it's probably pretty messy, right? Because it's this thing. So I'll go around and everybody tell me like one thing we see that shows just how, like it's all students, it's low rent. Like what do we see that like brings that back in? Feel free to bring in magic stuff. Like if we see anything weird or fanciful in here as well. And the biggest question is what song is playing to open our first scene?
Okay, I'm going to go with Don't You Want Me Baby by the Human League.
Cool.
And for a bit of magic, someone's singing and there's pigeons putting their clothes on the balcony to hang them out to dry.
Awesome. So we got someone on their balcony and the pigeons are helping do the put the laundry out?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the melody of the pigeons is like vaguely similar to the song that's playing over the scene.
Their cooing is the synth in the background.
It's a very good like urban version of whatever Snow White or whoever that.
It's definitely a cover. Like we didn't have the budget to get this actual song for the movie, right? So it's a cover of this. All right, Joe, what else do we see out there?
Someone's got like a bunch of lawn chairs on one of the balconies. Like there's probably not anyone in them, but they look recently vacated. There's like one of them is missing a leg. It looks like they've just thrown stuff out here from like last night's party.
Nice.
I think we like in one of the apartments we can see like the doors open and there's some lights coming out of it, like green and purple and whatever, and like there's definitely like that somebody's throwing a party, right? Like you can hear the music and the chatter of the people and whatever, but we can see two kids and they're obviously young, like they're not in college yet, and they're trying to go in to get like the free booze and stuff, and one of them casts a spell on the other and like they like they're covering themselves up. It's like their fake ID, right?
Right.
And that's how they're getting into the party.
Nice. So we've got McLovin out there doing illusions to try to get into this party. Yes. Is it a good illusion? Like, does it look like from the camera's view that they are getting in this party?
It looks like if somebody doesn't look closely, then yeah, they can probably go in and sneak some booze, but like some of their proportions are off, right? Like the ears are like totally wrong and the arms are like shorter than they should be, or something's like off about it, right? It's kind of obvious.
Nice. So I think the camera like zooms past them as they're arguing, right? And we can hear them like bickering about how the other one did their illusion badly. And it comes inside and we can hear the party growing over here, and it's still early, but like there's the party going on. And we push past into like a hallway where we see and I think it picks up like following someone's boots as they're walking. So we get that like clank, clank, clank of the like leather boots with the chain on it and stuff like that. But they're like those high heels, right? And it follows that around and then gets to a door where that person stops and knocks. And Joe, you hear a knock at your door.
I think it takes me a while to answer, just because I'm not expecting anybody. But I probably yell just what.
There's like the more hurried, like more just like at first it was a normal knock and now it's like a let me friggin' starts banging harder.
Are you a cop?
Why? Because I'd have to tell you. And you hear Amelia's voice.
Okay. I will open the door.
She's like, what the hell?
What?
You don't leave me standing out here.
Call me first.
I thought I was supposed to meet you.
Wait, what? When? Now? Oh, shit, did I? Okay, for what? I have zero memory of this.
And she like starts to push into your apartment.
What? What is going on?
It's nothing. And then she starts going like to get a beer out of your fridge.
I'm 18. I nonetheless have some.
And she comes back and she pops one with the other and hands it to you. Says no. It's fine. So I've got a business opportunity if you're interested.
What kind?
Okay. So you remember that thing you told me about?
Remind me.
Okay. The guy, he was like, said he was all with the shadows and...
Wait, when did I tell you about that?
I mean, we may have been drinking a lot, but like it got mentioned.
Okay, and
you can retcon this if you're like my character wouldn't say that.
Totally fine.
Okay.
You totally would.
We were like drinking, and there was a little bit of like fairy dust, but we.
Okay.
But okay, so you were talking about this guy, right? You said he's got this shadow thing going on.
Well, it's kind of weird shit. What do you?
Okay, look. So
what does it have to do with business?
No. Well, okay. So there's these guys, right? And they normally they're just who I get my stuff from. It's where I get my shade. But like, and she like shade is this like the smoke comes out super black. It's like some smoke drug. And she's like, but they're saying they're really interested in anybody who's, tempted or anything like that. Like if we can, there's a pretty big finder's fee in it. And just, things have been tight and I thought maybe we could split it.
Well, and like setting the drink on the counter, like you literally just got out of jail. Are you like seriously?
No. It's fine. I'm technically working at my uncle's shop. It's fine. It's good. No, it's gonna be fine. They're good. They're good guys.
Okay.
So let's cut there unless you want to do anything else before we... Okay, so that scene closes. And I think we pick up... let's see. Let's pick up with Zach, because we were just talking about him. So let's see what kind of state Zach is in. So we pick up in Zach's apartment. What do we see? What do we see in here, Zach?
he's doing a 13-minute keytar solo, standing on top of the couch, getting really into it. The window's open, the front door's open. He's really not paying attention because he's just in the moment, I think.
Nice. So so we cut to this, right? And then there's these two kids who are obviously wearing really terrible illusions, like bust in and they're like, "Oh, wrong room. We thought this was the party room, sir." And they like try to like don, like there's no hat. They're just like, and they try to leave. But it like knocks you out of your keytar solo.
I like the spirit though, so I'm just gonna go, let it rock.
And you get this sense that like that was a really good keytar solo, and you think like, man, if only, and you get these like, if you did this melody maybe, or this series of chords, it's not chords, what's on a keytar? But anyways, you get like this melody in your head, like maybe if you tried this, right? Like you start hearing like little whispers,
Yeah, all right, I'll give it a go. Quick go.
So this beautiful music comes out, right? And it's just like, it's super heavy and fast, and it's like ahead of its time, right? And you're just blowing through this, and the guys, like the kids actually come back for a second, and they like peek back in, and they're like, "Is that guy in a band?" And they're watching for a second, and you can kind of feel like your fingers are moving too fast, but it's perfect, right? It's like you're in the flow.
Yeah.
And one of them goes like, "Are you seeing this?" And like they like get like freaked out for a second, and they run away.
Oh. Well, I'll come out of it and I'll stop, because it's like, it's hard to perform without an audience. What the hell's going on?
Do you like go after them or anything?
Yeah.
So you like peek your head out, right? And these kids, like they see you look at them, and they're like, "Oh crap," and they like start running.
Hey, wait, dudes, I've got...
No, we didn't see anything. It's fine.
Okay.
We didn't see any shadow stuff. I didn't see anything. And the other one's like, "Shut up, dude. Just shut up."
Look, no hassle, man. I just want to have a chat. I was just playing the keytar. That's all you saw, yeah?
What? Yeah, that is all we saw. That's it. And the other one's like, "Just shut up. Just don't say, like, just." They're making a ruckus. So someone peeks their head out of their room. Or actually, I think let's bring Gael in here. So like you can hear this like ruckus outside your room.
Are we in like the same apartment, do you think? Or is it like...
Do you guys share an apartment?
I thought maybe he was across the hall.
Yeah, like across the hall.
I think across the hall is good.
They're probably
and
studios.
I think most of us... well, I don't know. Like, I kind of like the idea of, like there's like a couple of these multi-bedroom apartments. Like they were supposed to be for families. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, sure, yeah.
But instead, it's like 3 bedrooms and like either 3 to 6 people staying in an apartment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And how crowded you want to get. Yeah, like I think maybe I hear the keytar going, right? Mm-hmm. And it gives me a little bit of a chill, right?
Right. Maybe it's that same song.
Oh yeah.
That like brought you guys into your other dimension.
Yeah. Like it's a variant, right? It's like this. Yeah, no, totally. And we're seeing like the little bit of like flashback, back and forth, and you can hear the similarities. And I think I was in the middle of like making like a quesadilla or something, on the stove. I probably left it there because we're college kids, so we don't think about that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm heading straight down to Zach's room, like across the hall into that. And is it Zach's place? That's the party house right now.
I
do you think?
I don't think Zach's house is the party house. I think it's
He
like
just had an open door.
Yeah, I think he just had his door open, and these kids are trying to find the right place,
Right.
and like walked towards the loudest music, which was Zach's keytar.
Yeah, the right place meaning any place with free booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I, like, I'm not going to physically intimidate them, but can I just look at them and give them the, are you sure you didn't see something else you want to talk to me about?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at them.
Do you want to try to like, you say you don't want to intimidate them.
Well, kind of with my eyes, not with a fist sort of thing. Just.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you can try to like.
To them, I'm an adult. I'm an adult, basically.
So let's set what everybody's emotional state is here. So go ahead and choose whatever emotional state you think your character is at the start of the scene.
I'm going to say yellow because I was having a good solo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But this, I guess, would be aggressive, so I'm rolling a d6.
Yeah. And then probably sway if you're trying to convince him to.
Oh, so I'm adding. Oh, so I'm using a d6 and a d4 in this case.
Yeah, and then you keep one of them.
Okay. Well, the sway got 3 and the aggressive got 4.
Okay. So the aggressive was the d6 though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Dice explode in this game. So if you roll the highest number on a die, you roll it again, and you keep rolling it as many times as you roll the highest number. Okay, cool. So you got a 4. So a 4 is it's the 7 to 9 result of PBTA style, right? It's the success with complication.
Okay.
So I think you do manage to like get them to sort of like speak up. But have you popped out at this point, Gael?
I think I'm just getting there. Like I'm looking into the, like I've heard the music stop, and I think I probably hesitated for a minute, and maybe I was going to head back, but then I was like, nah, I need to go see what's going on here.
Gotcha.
And I'm probably like walking into the apartment.
And so they go, one of them is like, look, man, I'm not going to tell anybody. I didn't see anything. It's fine. Like,
I'm just like, hey, I just want to know what you saw.
And the other one's like, I don't know, dude. Like there was friggin' shadow just like billowing out of your hand, and like it started like covering up the keytar, and then there was like this, just whatever you're into, man. We don't want any of it. Like it's okay. Like we're just let us go.
Yeah, you go, man. You're not in trouble. I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And like the other one's like, God, you shouldn't have said anything. And he like grabs him. He's like kind of roughing him up a little bit, and you can see he grabs him like way lower than the shoulder should be, and like starts pushing him back down the hall. Yeah, and they leave you there all like sort of freaked out. Does that do you think that would like get to you at all, or?
I think that would make me blue. So I guess I go down from yellow to green.
So actually the way it works is when you roll, you move towards the thing, the emotion that you just said. But I think that would, like complication here might be a condition, like might be an emotional condition.
Okay. Well, orange has got vigilant as well, so maybe I'm just going to be more alert because I'm just like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So yes, you started at yellow and you rolled orange, right? So yes, you would move towards orange. And then what? So you can, you're going to take a condition, but you get to write what it is. So just tell me what, which emotion or what condition you take there. Like, do you think it's scared? Do you think it's
just alert?
Okay. So like you're keeping an eye out for anything strange.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's going to prevent you from using aggressive. So while you're super alert, actually, I think alert might need to go, or usually you want to put it on something, an emotion that's counter, right? So like if you're feeling alert, you might not be able to feel peaceful or surprised.
Yeah. Oh, we'll go peaceful then. Good.
Cool. All right. Okay, cool. So you take that. Now you can resist conditions if you want, but this alert may actually go away pretty quickly.
No, it makes sense, so that's fine.
Okay. All right, cool. So Gael, you're in your room. You hear this the keytar music playing that song, and you get this flashback. And like, what do we see in your room?
I think, I think, like I said, I was probably like in the middle of cooking something when I heard it outside. Maybe like I kind of have a feeling like the weather's been a little bit hot. That's why all the doors are all open all over the place. Yeah. And like I head down to his apartment, and maybe I catch the very end of this conversation with like the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like they're kind of like, nah, we don't want any part of it, that kind of thing. And they're like heading out, right? And maybe they pass me like as I walk in.
Oh, sure.
And what did you do right after they left? What did Zach do?
He just sort of looked confused and walked back into his apartment, but he still hasn't shut the door because he's just sort of, oh.
Right. I think I stopped the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, first of all, they're using like some remedial magic, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe the first thing I do actually is like, like they haven't quite taken off their illusion yet. So I'm kind of like, I give them a little bit of a pointer as the first thing, right? I'm just like, hey, a little bit over here on the, the shoulders, and your ears are all hanging out, and, and, but like I can.
One of them bought drawn up clothes and the other one didn't. So one of them's adult size but tiny clothes, and the other one's actually got the right size clothes, but their ears are all.
Yeah, no, I love it.
So you're like giving them pointers. What are you trying to get here? Are you trying to like endear yourself to them?
Kind of, and I also saw them talking about like they obviously saw some kind of dark shit, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, are you a friend of Zach's or?
They're like, whoa, no, we don't know that guy. I didn't know his name. You don't have to tell me his name. Why would you tell me his name?
I'm like, so what are you guys doing here? Are you just trying to get some booze? Like, I think this is something we've seen like half dozen times, right? And
the other one like hits him, and he's like, I told you it wasn't gonna work. And the guy who's talking to you is like, look, we don't want any trouble. We were just looking for a party.
Look, no trouble. I think you guys are on the right track. And, sometimes when you're, you're doing magic and you're not quite there yet, sometimes it messes with your senses. Do you know what I mean? And like, maybe you're just getting discombobulated. But look, right over there, and I'm pointing at the fridge behind them, right? I'm like, I'm sure there's some beers you can pick up. It's all good, man.
Oh, so that could have just been the illusion all messed up, and he was fine. He didn't see it, right? And they're like trying to convince themselves. Do you want to roll sway here and see if
sure?
See how this goes.
Yeah, let's do it. And I also roll an emotional die thing.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling about this.
So I was surprised, scared, blue, and I think I'm trying to be maybe like green or something.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to be calm and.
Yeah, you're trying to like calm them down,
right?
De-escalate. Yeah, I can see that.
So that's 1 over. What does that mean? Is that the second die?
D6. Yeah.
That's a D6. So I'd roll a D6 and a D4.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if this works. Come on, Google. No, it doesn't
Oh, you're
work.
trying to roll in Google?
Yeah. Bam, 5 or a 2. So it'll be a 5, right?
Yeah, it'll be a 5.
Yeah.
So you can spend heart to re-roll if you want.
No, I'm gonna take that.
Okay. So I think one of them is like the more nerdy one who like this was their plan, and so they're really interested in your information about how to do illusions better.
Right.
And so like you've definitely got that one. But the other one who just wanted the beer is still like pretty freaked out, and he's like, this guy's covering, like it kind of seems like he's not buying your story.
Right.
And so the one who's like, he starts just asking you more questions about illusions.
Right.
And he's like, no, like, okay, so, but if I bend the light this way, does it like, would it, be more realistic or whatever? And he's asking all these questions, and the other guy's like, dude, just come on, we should go. Like, he's just like trying to drag him. You don't think you really convinced that other dude.
Right. What I do try to do is try to give him like beers.
Right. Okay. I think that's enough to like pacify him, right? Like that's what they were here for. That's what they wanted anyways.
Right.
So you're pretty sure he's not going to like go rat anybody out, but if someone pushed on him, he'd probably talk.
Right.
So yeah, so he's got like 2 beer, probably 2 beers in each hand. And he's like, come on, dude, let's just get out of here. We'll drink these in the back. And so he grabs his friend and tries to get him out of there. But the dude's like, he's got a notepad out and he's asking you questions about illusions. But yeah, okay, cool. So you managed to like de-escalate and get these guys to calm down. Did you want any more information from them?
You know what? Just a little bit. Like I think I'm kind of like they look like high school kids or something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, I just the basics, like, hey, where did you guys, like where do you go? Or how did you pick up all these skills, like that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you find out like what high school they go to, and because the dude immediately just starts talking about his like they're seniors at some high school, and he's talking about his project that he's gonna do. He's in Illusions and Hollow Club, and he's gonna put on this big presentation, and so you find out like where they're from and like what side of town they're on and all that. So if you need to know information about him, you have that for later. And these guys sort of like bustle off and like head out a back door, like they're going to the alley to drink those beers. And I think the party starts to pick up a little bit. So like more people are starting to fill into the hallway. And we get, I think you see you see Zach's room here. And then at like the far end of the hall, you can see Shruti coming in, wearing like her party outfit. So she's like wearing let's see what, Shruti's a little more like, is she a little more preppy, geeky? Like where do you think Shruti is?
I think like when you look at her, you think like, I think she's picked up some preppiness, definitely. But I think she's one of those, like in the preppy group, like everyone knows that she's the smart one. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But she doesn't, she knows how to like not show it off. She knows how to be social. She knows how to play the social game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think she's dressed nice. Like she's wearing like the pencil skirt and the like probably like the acid wash jean jacket with the hair to the side with the bow and all that. And she comes in and sees you, and like you guys lock eyes. What do you do?
For a second before I look down, embarrassed.
So she's like, she sees you, so you just like look away.
Kind of, yeah.
So she comes over and she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that you lived here."
Yeah. I live here.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I heard there was a party. Do you know where it's at?
Yeah, it's right. It's over there. And I point down the hall at wherever. It's not at your place, right, Zach? It's like next door or some shit, right? Like down the hall. You can see all the lights coming out.
Oh, well, I mean, do you want to show me?
Oh, well, I mean, it's right. Sure. Like I kind of don't get it at first. I'm like, no, it's right there. Like I'm pointing at it. Right? But like I'm like, okay, and I like just start walking down the hall toward it, like expecting her to follow me, but I'm not standing next to her or like doing conversation. I'm just like, okay, I will show you, and I like walk ahead.
Yeah, you definitely get a heart for being awkward. And so she's like, she kind of laughs and like starts walking towards, to follow you. And I think the camera goes back into Zach's apartment to see how he's doing. What do we see in here, Zach?
I think I'm kind of tidying up a little bit. But it's more I'm kind of looking around for like dark, shadowy shit, which isn't there, as if to try and prove it to myself that it was nothing. They saw something that isn't there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of distracted and I'm over responding to any noise or sight.
Yeah, no, there was nothing there. I mean, that's weird. Like, I mean, even your inner, like your inner voice is telling you, like, no, these kids are crazy.
All right.
And I think like someone else comes, sort of bouncing by and like leans in the doorway. And so it says, did you see my friend go by? And it's just like this super cute prep chick. Just.
If you're looking for Trudy, it's 2 doors down there.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, so there was like a party or something. Do you play the keytar? She like points.
No, I rock the keytar. And I'm going to take it and I'll say, I'll show you where the party is.
Okay. She's like, so she sort of steps back and I think that is confident enough that she's like, okay. And so she steps back and she's like, all right, show me where this party is. And she walks with you. She's like, I don't normally come to this place. Is it safe?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
If they're not hassles, let me know.
I don't know. Shruti said that she had a friend that lived here or something like that, and she really wanted to come to this party because she might see him. But
oh, okay, yeah,
okay. So she like follows you to the party area, and it's probably one of the bigger apartments here. It's like the one that has the biggest living space, and so like you make your way down there and you can see that there's like a bunch of people in here, like way too many people in here. And they've already got a band playing, but it's definitely nothing that keytar would go with. It's probably some like, I don't know, what would be a good band that a keytar wouldn't fit. Keytar goes with everything though. You could definitely find a way to get up there with that band. But yeah, there's a band playing. There's this scene. Let's see how Joe's doing. So Joe, back in your apartment, Amelia is like, okay, great. So just where's he at? We could just go get him.
Probably like already getting out because he lives maybe like downstairs a floor, but like super close. So. And we get like the noise of the music filtering up because by this time it's getting kind of loud.
Yeah. So do you guys?
So just head downstairs.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So and she says a number, which definitely sounds like it shouldn't be enough to get her as excited as she is. That is your half.
Oh.
Of the finder's fee.
And I think I kind of like, as we're heading down the stairs, I just kind of stop and turn around.
She's like, oh, what?
Seriously?
What? That's the number. That's what they.
Okay, but I'm doing most of the work here, right? I am.
Sure. I mean, so what, like 60-40? What?
And I give like whatever number Should be fair.
Do you want to roll something to try to?
Sure.
All right, let's see. What I don't know. That might be sway. I could see it being mental though, if you're like using your street smarts.
Let me see. Just looking at the rest of my moves. Nah,
This is definitely a shady
pretty sick.
deal.
Which one are you looking at?
Alley Cat.
What does it mean to be in control? It's
So
capitalized, like it's important.
Yeah, so it's basically like you have narrative, you have fictional positioning here. Like you're in control when you are doing a shady deal or something like that. So basically, you have leverage, as you would definitely know the right number to say.
Okay.
You're gonna probably have +2 if you do have to roll.
Okay.
So actually, you probably don't have to roll because of Alley Cat. So you would just know like what a finder's fee would be for this. And so yes, you drop the appropriate number, which is exactly half of what she was offered. And she's just like, yeah, no, that sounds fair. That sounds fair.
That's what I thought.
And
It's weird though to be like this. It feels like slipping backward in a way.
What do you mean?
No, just like my inner monologue.
Oh, your inner monologue. Like, yeah. So she's like, great, okay, cool. Just show me where this dude is, and then if we I like once I can describe him, like we can just go get the guys or whatever, and they just want to talk to him. I mean, they just no, they just want to talk to him. It's nothing that crazy. Yeah, they're not gonna like steal him. Like, I mean, what are they gonna do? Kidnap him?
And I upped the price like 25%.
Oh my God. Look, okay, you know that there's no way that like I have all the risk.
That is true.
Like you know the dude, but like I'm the one with the contact here. Like I'm not giving him your name or anything.
Fine.
Gosh, just point me at this dude and I'll whatever you want. Like I'll throw in your next dose on me.
Look, I'm not. I'll just do this.
Okay. So she's like, great. And she like lets you lead because she doesn't know where she's going.
Yeah, so downstairs, probably swing by your apartment first. Did you leave the door open? Just stick my head in.
Oh, down by Zach's apartment?
Yeah, because his door had been open originally, I think.
Did you leave their door open when you left with Shrudy's friend?
Yep.
Great. So yeah, just shout your name, get nothing. He's probably wherever that is.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll follow you. This is his apartment though?
Yeah.
In case we don't find him later.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
She just like follows you to the party. So we get into
not picking up on the mood.
So we get into the party here, and there's like all these people in here doing their thing, and Shrudy definitely looks like she wants to go dance. There's like an area that's cleared where people are dancing, and she like looks over. She's like, did you want to dance?
I kind of like the idea of her being like, oh, I want to go dance, and maybe I'm like, yeah, the dance floor is right over there.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. So she's like, right. Okay. I guess I'll go dance over there then.
I think like at that point, like when she changes her tone like that, like I think I get what she's asking, but I'm also maybe too embarrassed to say anything about it. I think she'll start to go, and I'll probably like, will see me be like, like, yeah, I just don't think I can, like, maybe this is the cowardness coming through too.
So let's see. So that might be, so you can definitely just choose to do that, right? Like you can choose to, I think that would probably be a condition, right? Like embarrassed. You could just choose to take that. Or if you want to try to like muster your courage.
I'm going to muster my courage, and I'm going to try to go out there and dance with her. But like she's already expecting me not to be there. So I think I'm going to surprise her by going out there and dancing, and it could go horribly wrong.
All right. So let's roll and see if you can muster your courage. Because I think this is a reaction roll. Because you're going to, if it goes poorly, you're probably going to take the condition embarrassed, and it's going to be tough.
I'm pretty sure whatever version of dance I've got is maybe not practiced. Oh, so I mean, I think I'm still blue, like scared.
Oh yeah. So if you're rolling your the emotion that you're on, then you're gonna mark stress.
Okay. And so sorry, what am I rolling then? This is.
So this is probably psych.
Oh yeah, psych sounds right. Okay, so it'd be a D6.
Can I help him? Can I see this and help him?
Yeah. I mean, you could try to jump in there and help him.
I'll just sort of pat him on the back and say, hey, we're both bards tonight. And I'll, because Trudy's friend is trying to get me to dance as well. So I'm thinking safety in numbers, we'll have 4 of us sort of thing. But I'm saying, yeah, hey, we're both bards tonight. Let's go.
Nice. I love that.
Cool. So yeah, so you roll it like +2.
Okay.
But I think it'll open you up to the consequences if so like if you get out there and you're super weird, it's Zach definitely invited you onto the dance floor.
So I'm gonna roll a D6, and then because I'm rolling the blue, is that also a D6?
It's a D8.
Oh, D8 because it's on top of. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do 6 and D8. Nice. I rolled a 1 and a 3. But +2 is a 5 then?
Yeah, it would be. Do you want to spend a heart to re-roll?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. I already played into awkward earlier, so let's re-roll. Bam. Bam. Ooh, that's a 7 + 2.
Nice.
That's a 9. I think, like, yeah, definitely it helps that Zach's like there's that moment where I'm like, there's no way I'm going out there. And then it's like, oh, wait, I'm not by myself. Like, and I think, Zach and the friend go out and like, they look like they know what they're doing. Right. So I'm like, okay, this can't be that bad. Right. And I go out there, and I think it's that moment, like, I don't, like when you see like Napoleon Dynamite or one of those movies, and you're like, oh, everybody's gonna think this is ridiculous. Like I start dancing, and it's like a little bit weird. It's not what everyone else is doing.
Right.
But like it's also kind of like funky and okay. Like it's kind of interesting. Like I think a couple people are like, ooh, what's going on over there? Like that kind of thing. So it's not quite as bad as we first think.
That's awesome. So I think like it does, it catches some attention, and it definitely catches Shrudi's attention. And so like you definitely don't embarrass yourself. Like you get like everyone sort of like, woo, like they're like, go guy, like, right. And yeah, so this thing starts happening on the dance floor where everyone's just sort of like forming a circle. And then I think after you did your thing, everyone else is like, well, we got to one up the geek. Like we're not going to let a geek show us up on our dance floor. So like they come out and they do like something. So then you get like this sort of, dance off where several people keep trading off who's in the middle. Nice. So that's going on as Joe and Amelia step in. and there's this like big dance situation in the middle of the room, and you're pretty sure that these guys would be nowhere near that. So where are you going to look for?
I'm looking for Zach specifically. Just like taking in the room. Like you brought your keytar, right?
Yeah, it's on my back.
Do you have that like strapped to your back? Okay,
Yep,
great.
yep.
So you're just like surveying the room here.
Yeah.
I think it would normally be pretty hard to notice someone in this crowd, but because of the keytar, like it's gonna make it possible. So you probably have to roll to see like how long it takes you to find them. But definitely like you can find your.
How loud is the music? How loud is the music?
Oh, it's like it's crazy loud because as soon as everyone started dancing, like the music went like to 11.
Gotcha. Okay.
You probably notice Zach is looking around a lot because I marked the vigilant, so he's sort of looking around more because he's sort of soaking in all these things and he's not just relaxed. So probably that would stand out a bit.
Okay. So I have vigilant marked already.
Okay.
Not for stress conditions, but that's what I think I want to roll with. So
okay.
I roll.
So you would roll a D8.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably mental for looking for someone.
And remind me how this works.
So you roll both dice. So you roll a D8 and a D6, and you keep the higher of the two. And then you will mark stress for rolling your current emotion.
Okay. And can I get a roll for your party?
Oh yeah, it's if you click on NPCs and notes towards the bottom, it's the last link.
Got it.
I'll use that from now on. I was just using those Google dice.
Oh, or if you guys have dice, you can use dice. I'll trust you.
They're all the way on the other side of the room. Too far.
That looks really bad, Kurt.
So that's called Snake Eyes, and you can't spend heart to reroll Snake Eyes. It's just the worst case failure. So, oh man, we didn't establish what was at stake. So I'm gonna kind of open this up. So the stakes here, I think, are part of it was how long it's going to take you to find Zach. But at this point, I don't know that you do find Zach. I think there's someone else here with a keytar, and you see them leave, like out the back door, like they're going outside. And so you're like, oh crap, he's leaving, right? And so yeah, of course you and Amelia make chase, right? Because you got to go find this guy. And so you're like halfway down the block by the time you realize that this is definitely not Zach. Because why would he have gotten into that van and just left? Or do you follow it?
I mean, this could be free money, dude.
Well, but I also know, like, I think I turned to Amelia and I'm like, look, like, he's fucked off, but I literally know where he lives. So do you have a deadline on this thing?
I was supposed to tell him tonight. Like they're kind of in a hurry, you know? I mean, I don't know, they're like recruiting or whatever.
Okay, well, I mean, there's a party we can go to.
All right. You know, we could probably make a little money at the party.
Sure.
Are you still selling?
No. They're little friends, whatever. It's not the same thing.
Do you want to be selling?
Look, I don't want to encroach on your turf or whatever. Just, you got this.
Okay. Yeah, it's all you. Do we think with your, because you're trying to get out of the life, right? That's your goal. You're trying to
sort of.
Do we think you have to like try to resist this? Like, is she putting some pressure on you here?
Oh, definitely she's putting some pressure on me.
So I think you're gonna have to make a reaction roll then. So I think she's trying to like inflict a condition on you here. So you're gonna have to resist that. It's not a resistance roll, but you have to roll something to not take this condition here. Um, So whatever you think is appropriate, like it could be psych because you're, not giving into peer pressure. It could be mental because the consequences, like whatever you think is appropriate.
I think I'm kind of trying to sway myself.
Right. Like you're just talking yourself out of it. Cool. So yes, you would roll that plus whatever emotion you feel about it.
Okay. Blue?
Like you're a little scared that you kind of want to do this?
And like she literally just got out of jail. Okay. So that is a D6 and a D4?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the D6 ain't your friend. Oh, hey, the 4 explodes.
Okay, so 2 and a 4.
So roll another D4.
Have you ever played Savage Worlds?
I have not.
Yeah, they have this exploding dice thing.
All right, cool. So
is that like we have to roll to confirm a crit?
No. You actually add the D4. You add up all the D4s that you roll every time they roll the highest number.
So with a D4, you can roll like a 12 or something big if you keep rolling 4s over and over again.
Yeah. So you got a 5.
So 5.
So that's enough to write the I think so you're able to resist the condition, or you're not going to take one because that's you succeeded, but you're still a little like I think it does get to you a little bit, like you find yourself out loud talking yourself out of it, right? And she's like, look, whatever, it's fine. God, square, and like walks into the place, and you can see her like start like just move into the party to start like passing little baggies around and making some cash. Cool.
Yep.
So we're on the dance floor, and Zach, this chick is like, she's definitely trying to dance with you. Like, are you into this situation?
She's preppy, isn't she?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm having trouble getting past that, and I'm noticing there's a fairly high sort of prep quota at the party.
Yeah, you can't tell. Like,
I'm struggling emotionally. I'm struggling because I'm like,
yeah, like, what is she doing here? Is she slumming it? Like, is she? What's the deal? But she's definitely seems into it. Like, she's trying to get you to dance. She's.
Can I just sort of roll to try and we'll see how it goes?
Yeah, like see if you can get over it, like or if you like believe her or anything. So what do you think you're rolling there?
I think I'll talk to her about who she is, why she's here, and I'll try and focus on her and ignore the other preps. That may not work, but
yeah. So you thinking like sway?
I thought maybe mental.
Yeah, sure.
Either way, it's a D4. All right. And I'm trying to be yellow, but I'm orange at the minute. So D6. All right. So 5 on the yellow and 4 on the mental. Oh, hang on. That explodes. So 3. So 7 on the mental.
Cool. All right. So yes, you. So it's so the brackets are 4+ and 8+. So you're in that 4+ range, so it's like a mixed success, right?
Okay.
So I think you can definitely you can probably muster the courage to dance, but you're definitely going to be second guessing her motives the whole time. Or maybe you've decided on the motives, but you've decided that, like, I don't know, you end up dancing funny because you're kind of on guard, you're trying to look cool. What do you think?
I'm going to go with that. I'm dancing funny because I'm too alert and I'm not relaxed enough.
Right. So you're like trying to dance cool and it just comes off stilted and sort of awkward. And so this she's trying to dance with you, and one of her friends who like recognizes her comes over, and she's like, "What are you doing with this?" She like gestures to you, like not even talking to you, talking to this other girl, and she's like, "No, it's fine. Get off. Like come on, he plays the keytar." Like she points at your back, like where you can clearly see the keytar. And the other one's like, "Oh, come on, it's like a keyboarder with, I don't know, it's just like a stupid piano." Like she starts insulting the keytar.
That's just rude.
And I think she's trying to inflict a condition on you.
I think I'm going to say to the one dancing with me, look, you seem cool, but this isn't really my scene, so sorry, I got to blow, and I'll just go to leave.
Okay. So yes, you just like you just walk away.
Yeah.
Okay. So that this other prep definitely like runs you off, and you can see that she looks the one that was dancing with you looks a little disappointed. She needs a name, so I can stop saying just she over and over again. I think her name is Tiffany.
Oh, God.
So Tiffany looks a little disappointed, but Kelly like definitely drove her off.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write all these names down. So
I think I'll go and grab a bud and stand against the wall and watch for a bit.
Sure. Yeah. So you leave, and I mean, it obviously worked. So like, she seems disappointed, but she sticks with her friends, right? She's not gonna like bail and come talk to you. So she goes back to dancing with her friends, and I think you see like some preppy dude come over and try to dance with her, and she does not look into it, but she's like, this is what's expected, and she's like on the dance floor. And this like super cool like rebel chick comes walking up to you, and she like leans on the bar, and she's like, "Can I get one of those beers?"
Sure. I'll grab a beer.
And she takes like it and yours and like pops the one with the other and like hands it back to you. Starts drinking, and she's like, "So, what do you do for fun?"
Not this, pointing at the preps dancing.
Yeah, I hate these things. I mean, I've got something that could help you loosen up, if you're...
This isn't Amelia, is it?
This is definitely Amelia.
Oh.
But she doesn't know who you are. But, I mean, you are wearing a keytar. We'll see if she puts it together.
I hadn't decided my attitude towards drugs. What the hell? Yeah, bring it on.
Awesome. So she pulls open a jacket, and she's got like a couple of little things, and she's like, what are you into? You want like some fairy dust? Do you want some shade?
Why not both?
Awesome. And yeah, she's like, you see like dollar signs in her eyes, and she's like, Great. Is there someplace quiet around here?
Sure, yeah, I'll just pop up the hall.
Nice. So she follows you out in the hall, and you, Joe, as you're like making your way through the room, you see Amelia and Zach leaving together.
I think I start making my way through the crowd toward them. Like, not meaning to follow them out, but like, hey, M.
And like she's definitely on a mission. So unless you shout real friggin' loud.
I do have a move, sort of.
Yeah.
You can stir up a crowd or spur them to action with a few words.
Yeah. Are you going to use Rebel Yell?
I want them to bring her to me, or to bring them to me.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, definitely. So let's see. So I think, yeah. How do you do that? Like, what exactly do you tell them to do? Like there's probably people beyond them, right? Like that are out in the hall.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think I say Zach's name, and then like, hey guys, don't we want to hear some keytar? like trying to get them to get him to play and like bring him back into the room.
Nice. And the guy in the band is like, the keytar player quit, man.
Well, they said the magic words.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely loud enough. Like, because he says it into the mic because he heard you, right? And he's like, "What? What do you want? The keytar player quit." And so you hear that out in the hallway.
I'll yell out, "Never say goodbye!" And I'm holding up my keytar.
Yeah. Okay. So the crowd like parts, right, to like give you space to get up to go play with the band, and like. You can see there's like some frustration on Amelia's face because she's like, "Fuck my money," as you like turn and leave, but she doesn't like grab your arm or anything. And she looks back and she sees you, Joe, and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
And I just mouthed like, "That's him" at her.
She's like, "Oh shit, okay," right? Like she's So like everyone parts, right? You make your way up to the front. Are you gonna go play with the band?
Yeah, because I don't see their conversation because I'm running towards the podium at this point with my keytar, you know. It's my moment.
Nice. Great. So like you head to the stage. Amelia's like she like makes a thing like she's got to go make a phone call. And then she bounces, right? She's gonna go make a phone call. And we see Shruti is like standing next to, like when the crowd parted, she like made a point of like being next to Gael.
I think there's this moment where and maybe it's that moment where one of like some friend of Shruti's is like, "Oh, where did you meet this guy?" Like, because everyone's kind of, you know what I mean? And I just stop halfway through a song and I'm like, "Quesadilla," and I run. And I just run back to my apartment. Like, it makes no sense to anyone there, but I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I'm going to burn my apartment down."
So your apartment is 100% on fire. So you get back to your apartment. There's just like flames on the stove. It's probably not like destroyed the counter yet, but it's pretty big. And like you get in there and there's like smoke filling the apartment. What do you do?
I think my first thought is, you know what? I'm gonna turn to the little spot on the wall where like there's it says like fire extinguisher, and of course there isn't one there.
Yeah, no.
Who the fuck knows where that's been?
Someone
for the
needed
last
it
10
to
years.
race office chairs around the halls.
Something, yeah. And I turn back and I think I'm gonna cast a spell. Like I have to, like, I don't know what else to do, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Magic.
Do that.
Sure.
So you want to control some fire. So that is red. So when you use magic, you are restricted to what color you use.
Sure.
Because they're all sort of tied to different things. And I think it says, like, it's hard to read conjuration, but heat and fire magic is under red.
Okay. So that's going to be obviously a D4 because I'm blue right now.
Right. So that, or you could try cold magic to like, to like cool it down. So it's up to you. Like if you want to like use and control the fire, or if you want to like.
I'm kind of freaking out. So I think I want to control the fire. I don't think I'm thinking logically.
Nice. Okay.
It's not put the fire out. It's how do I make the fire dance for me and go back to the stove or something.
Right. How do I put it where I want it?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's roll some dice.
Sure. And I guess D10 is the mental. Like I would use mental. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll choose red because I am red on the thing, and I will do one of those and one of those, and then I'll go bam. All right, a 9. A 9.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So yes, you like, I think you like pull the fire into whatever, like you just tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, I think, like people, everyone will be like, oh, of course he's going to cast like some water on it or something, but I don't. I just kind of like start sweeping my hands, and we can see the flame that's on the counter kind of like starts getting together and almost like dancing its way over to the stove, and slowly kind of becomes like a smaller flame under the under the pan that's already got like this black and whatever, like it's fucked, right?
Yeah.
And like it takes me a minute to do all that, but then I just walk up and just turn off the stove. Like
Nice.
once all the fire's back on the little pilot or the thing, I just turn it off.
Nice.
And then I pick up this pan and just throw it into the sink and, like turn the water on, and it's like steaming all over the place.
That's awesome. So something that happens when you draw on like the light magic is it actually pulls the light like into your spell, right? So it like you draw the light, but because you have fire, it's putting out this red light. So like you're just taking this like the energy of the fire and then throwing it back to control it. And so like we see the red light that's like cast off this flame sort of like coalesce into your whatever this spell shape is, as you like then redirect it and focus the fire into that like cute little thing, and then it closes out.
Mechanically, because I did a red thing, do I move over?
You move one towards it, and because you cast a spell, you mark stress on red.
Okay. And then I still had a stress on blue. I just leave it there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Until a scene ends. But I feel like we're kind of still in the same until like some time passes.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I think we cut to a little later in the evening.
I do think, by the way, like I yelled quesadilla and ran out, and I think like not knowing, everybody else was like quesadilla, and they just kept dancing like it was like a thing.
Oh my gosh, what's the it's like the song Tequila, right? But now just everybody just screams quesadilla instead of tequila. So so like that comes back later throughout the evening every so often. Like everybody's like, is that supposed to be the words? He was so confident. But yeah, so we like cut to later in the party. The band is gelling really well. Like you're definitely like doing you could join this band, you think, at the end of this night.
Yeah.
And
occasionally I'll nod or smile at Tiffany.
Oh yeah,
because,
she's
because she seems like a nice girl, and it'll piss off the prep guys, so it's win-win.
Oh yeah, I think it does probably piss off these preps, right? Like you're kind of riling up these two. Like there's these two bros, right, who are just like, one of them's like, "Can you believe this fucking guy? Like like one of them's trying to like pump the other one up, like they're gonna come and fight you or something like that." Probably Tiffany's ex. And yeah, so you're up there playing. The party's going on. What's Joe doing?
I think not dancing, definitely, but like hanging out on the side with Amelia and like legitimately waiting for Zach to be done, I think. But like also like talking to people, and like this is taking a few hours, it sounds like. So yeah, like having a few drinks, hanging out.
So yeah, so I mean, you guys are hanging out by the bar when these two not goth, but definitely wearing like fancy black suits with these two like little orb things. Like there's these little like shadowy mist things that are just sort of floating, up around their shoulders, like enter the room. And Amelia like stiffens, right? She like stands up straight.
Yeah, and like do I know what these things are? Are these a similar sort of shadow as the thing that was in Zach?
So you've seen Zach's shadow, so it looks kind of similar. Go ahead and you're a rebel, and you definitely didn't pay attention in thaumaturgy class, right? But if you want, you could roll mental and see if you know what those things are.
Okay.
Or we could just decide
And-
that you probably don't. It's up to you.
So yeah, this brings me back to vigilant, I think.
Okay.
So that means I shifted over, but I'm
Well, you roll first and then it shifts. So you would roll a d6 and then it would shift afterwards. So if you're playing this game in the like min-maxy way, you want to always be bouncing back and forth between two.
all right. So D4 and D6.
Yeah.
I think when they come in, I'm just getting a beer for Gail and Joe because I'm there.
Well, they both exploded, so you can roll one, another d6 and another d4.
Oh wait, oh no, that was not okay. So that is 8 and 6.
Yeah.
Or
So
no,
you keep,
sorry, yeah.
yeah. So you're
Yeah,
gonna keep
8 and
the
6.
8. So if you're chosen by Magus, you get this little like wisp familiar thing. Like it's pretty rare, but like really powerful mages have them, and they're like these little light things that float around, and I don't know, they kind of help them or something. It's magic shit, right? Like whatever that means. But these are dark, like, and they look like that shadow thing that's in him. So like whatever that means, like they're definitely mages because it looks like that, but these are dark mages.
Okay. And there is are they, does that automatically make them evil?
I
Or-
mean, evil's like a human construct.
But it could also be like a total affectation.
Yeah. Like you could consider them evil if you wanted to, but
I mean, I feel like I've given the people I hang out with. Yeah, so
got my death move ready.
yeah, I think just like sitting back, and they're approaching us.
Yeah, actually they walk into the room and they're looking around. They haven't walked over to you yet, but like one of them spots Amelia.
Okay, yeah, I think like leaning back against the counter and waiting for them to make the first move, whatever that is.
Okay, so one of them like posts up by the door, and the other one comes over to Amelia, and he's got this like, I don't know, just sort of pompous, like better than you attitude, like every authority figure you've ever been around. Like this guy is definitely a politician or something, right? He was probably a vice principal before he did whatever this is. And he's like,
Suddenly I have a cigarette in my hand.
yeah. And he's like, oh, where is he?
Who's asking?
And Amelia like looks at you like, what are you doing? And he says, I hardly think that's any of your concern.
You look like a poet. And an asshole, just saying.
You should watch your mouth.
Sorry, a little louder. The music.
You're incorrigible. But I don't have time for you right now. Where? And he looks back to Amelia and he just tries to ignore you. And he's like, where? And she sheepishly points as Zach is coming over to get a beer.
Oh, these are those guys.
And he's like, thank you. And he starts moving towards Zach.
So Zach gets 3 beers, takes one to Joe first. Sorry, Gail first, and then he's bringing one over to Joe.
Yeah, and I'm saying to Amelia, like, why didn't you fucking say something?
She's like, dude, no, you don't. Not with these people.
Well, that would have been nice to know before I did it.
Well, I didn't think you were going to mouth off to the first, like, freaking terrifying dude you...
Oh, come on.
I mean, sure, like fucking cops or whatever, but like, dude, chill. Like these,
Okay, well, you tell me I'm dealing with the fucking mafia or whatever.
pretty much. These guys are into some weird shit. Okay, just don't piss him off. You don't want to, I don't know, him to turn you into something.
And I think this is when Zach comes up with his beer.
Yeah. And this guy, this like dude in this suit, and it's like super nice, and he's wearing like all black, right? Like black shirt, black tie, black coat, everything, hair slicked back. And he comes up and he says, so I heard you're a pretty good musician.
You seem like someone that knows nothing about music. So
You wound me, sir. No. I've been told that if I want my club to do well, then I need to get the finest young acts. And I was told that you were one of those.
not sure I'm down with creepy mofos, you know? Just
And he like bites his tongue a little bit. And you've had some bad experiences with people using you, have you?
what are you, my shrink?
No, I'm just asking you. You distrust me so quickly. I'm only asking you to play at my club.
Well, Robert Smith doesn't live here, so go and join the Cure and go somewhere else.
Oh no. We need something a little more upbeat, you know? I gotta get all these stupid poetry kids out of my club. And he like side eyes at Joe. We're thinking of changing it up a little bit.
Can I do some sort of roll to see if he's genuine? Because
Sure. Yeah, you can roll to see if like you think he's on the level.
so is that mental, I guess, or
Oh yeah, we're
I'm
coming
already
up on
vigilant.
9:30, huh? Okay. Yeah, so this probably be I think it'd be psych if you're trying to like judge his
Yep.
intentions. And then whatever emotion you feel about that.
Well, vigilant still.
Yeah.
Because while I probably went down to yellow during the music, I'm back up because these guys just look creepy as shit. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Well, that's different. So 1 for orange,
Okay.
and then 5 for psych.
Okay. So it's a mixed success. So I think you get the sense that he is he definitely wants something from you. But you're not sure what. And while you're like off in contemplation, you haven't really noticed that his like little wispy thing has sort of like moved around behind you.
Okay.
Now you can resist that. You can like spend some heart and say like, no, I don't want that thing getting the drop on me. And spend some heart to try to roll to resist that, to like.
No.
Okay.
No.
So yes. So this thing is back there, and I think let's see, who's like, I think the rebel's probably the most like paying attention here. What do you think between Joe and Gael? Who do you think is eyeing this guy harder? Yeah. Okay. So you definitely tell that he's about to do some sort of magic to Zach. Like you see this thing float around behind his head, and it's like, I don't know, it's like wispy massaging the back of his head. You know, like the wisps, the shadow are starting to like flow out and towards the back of his head. It's not like touching him because it's not physical. but it's like it's there, and you can tell that there's definitely about to be something happen to Zach.
Okay. Flashback
Yeah.
to high school.
Okay.
I think I want to do magic.
Okay.
And maybe also my malfunction.
Yeah. What do you? Oh, because you're resisting. What do we? Which
I'm
one are you
looking
hitting?
at, well, gain XP when you show someone that love doesn't need to fit other people's expectations.
Ah.
Like, definitely platonic love, but
Yeah.
same. Okay. So yeah, tell me what I have to do.
Okay. So if you want to do some magic, you tell me what kind of effect you're looking for, and that'll determine which emotion you have to roll. And then the default skill is, or trait is mental. But if it makes sense for something else, like if it was an illusion, maybe we could go glam, right? For like getting the fashion right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you tell me what you want to happen.
So I think I want to. It's sort of more reactionary, and I'm looking to just like snatch it up in my hand and crush it out.
Oh, the little familiar thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So because you're like trying to affect a physical or this ball of magic with your hands, that's probably orange, because it's like telekinesis, right? Like you're trying to, or yeah, I think that's probably orange.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna burn it.
No. Telekinesis sounds better.
Okay, so yes, you're just like powering up your hand basically to be able to interact with this.
Yeah, like I think there's like this
thing.
oil, this like oil slick, like light
Yeah.
that coats it, and I just want to.
So like I think there's a lava lamp on the counter, right? And like the oil in the lava lamp, right? Like this orange oily light just like coats your hand, and you like reach up and grab at this thing. Go ahead and roll. So that's probably orange. And you know what? You could do bod here, or motor if you're trying to like move fast.
Definitely trying to move fast. And wait, since I marked orange, I have a stress on orange. Does that mean I can't use it, or?
No, only if you have a condition you can't use it.
Okay.
But if you roll it, you're gonna take a condition.
Gotcha. That is fair. So
Yeah.
D and D10. Fingers crossed, Zach. 3 and an 8.
All right. Well, the 8 is that's a you tell me what happens success. It's not great. If you get 12 plus, it's great effect. So like extra cool shit could happen, but like basically you just get what you wanted.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'm shoving a few people aside, and I don't know if you even feel this happen, but you definitely feel like my hand just swipe behind you, and I think it's hard to hold on to almost. It's like seeping out between my fingers.
Oh yeah.
And I have to it's like spaghetti, and I'm just like trying to shove it back and shove it back and shove it back. And
it's like trying to grab a shadow.
And I'm like squeezing it, and it's getting smaller and smaller until it's an egg, and like there's still tendrils, but when I crush the whole thing out, those kind of disappear and evaporate into the air.
Oh my gosh. So this dude like winces and grabs his head like you just gave him a migraine. And this definitely inflicts a condition on that guy, right? Because you just like took out his familiar. So he like grabs his head and he like furrows his brow and he's like, ugh. And Zach, you can feel like, you know that feeling when you are talking to someone and they just stop talking to you, like they just turn and like stop talking to you? You suddenly get that feeling as though you were having a conversation and the person just stopped talking to you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll hold up my bottle and I'll try and chink bottles with whoever else wants to, chink and then we'll have a drink.
So you're gonna try to like get past that.
Yeah.
So I think you're gonna have to try to make a reaction roll here to not like get a little down, right? Like just feeling blue for no reason. You
Can
feel
I help?
you know what? You can. If
So
you,
I'm gonna grab you by the back of your jacket and try to like shove you out of the room.
oh yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, so you I think you're gonna have +2 to try to resist getting sad here, like someone just ignored you or was rude to your face.
Yep. So what am I rolling?
Let's see. So it's probably psych.
So 4.
And let's see, however you feel about that. So I mean, if you're feeling joyous, maybe peaceful. However you think you would try to resist. Like if you're feeling sad and you just want to roll to like be okay with being sad.
I think I want to go and see Gail, because I feel like I've sort of neglected him a bit. So I'm thinking I'm not talking to these people. I'm just going to go and chat to my buddy.
Okay.
So I'm optimistic about talking to my buddy because I feel all right when I'm talking with him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, so roll a d6 and probably psych there.
So, 1 on the d6 and 2 on the d4, which is not great.
Do you want to spend a heart to re-roll?
And did you say you were adding 2?
Oh yeah, and you have +2. Sorry, because you're getting like grabbed. You know, your friends are all around you.
All right, so the 1 becomes a 3 and the 2 is still 2.
So it would be a 4, but if you want, you could spend a heart to re-roll. And I think
no, that's fine. I'll go with 4.
I think when you spend heart, you get +2. Oh, but you already have +2, so it doesn't stack. So okay, cool. So you're gonna go with a 4?
Yeah.
All right. So so you managed to like get past it, right? You're like, you know what? I'm surrounded by friends. It's fine. The voice in the back of your head is a little depressed, but you managed to push past it. But you do feel like this pull, right? Like there's something in you that like feels like it's trying to get out.
Yeah.
And we're getting really close to end time here. So I just want to do a check-in and see if we want to like quickly wrap or if people want to go like a little long. Do we want to?
I can do half hour.
Yeah, I'm reaching a limit.
Okay, so we'll try to like quickly wrap the scene, I think. Right here. So I think when that happens, like when this dude gets crushed and like it obviously doesn't have a result on Zach, the other dude like comes over and like grabs him by the shoulders like to support him, right? And he's like he looks at the all of the kids and he glares at Amelia and she looks super friggin' scared. And then he's like, we know where he lives. And then they just turn to leave. Any parting shots before we wrap?
I think this is the part where I turn around and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Because I think most of the times, like I've been like, I would have noticed some of the magic stuff or whatever, but every single time something's about to happen, I kind of get distracted by, Shruti or whatever, right? Or so like I think I've like missed a bunch of the things.
So yeah, so I think the rest of the night goes fairly well, except that Amelia's like, I've got to go, and like gets out of there.
Yeah, I think I tried to talk Zach into leaving, but you probably stick around because you don't know what's happened.
No, I missed a lot of it. I'll see what Tiffany wants to do. If she's busy, then yeah. If she's not interested, then I'll go.
All right. Yeah, I think Tiffany definitely will leave. Like if you're like, hey, let's get out of here, she's like, definitely. And you can tell that she's like been trying to like get away from those bros the whole night.
I'll give a big call.
Yeah. So any excuse to leave the party, she's down. Everybody makes it safely from the party back to their houses. Do we want to do any like what we see the next morning, and then we'll call it?
When you get home, your door's still open, but there's a piece of paper like taped to the inside that just says like "Watch out."
Oh, okay.
I think when Gael gets back, to like everything kind of disperses and he gets back and like I think in the morning he wakes up and we can see like maybe he had a little bit to drink, but like I think he's got a low tolerance. But he goes out and sees the kitchen is totally fucked, and he's like, we just see him starting to clean up after his mess. But he gets over like one counter over, and that's where the little answering machine is, and it's totally one of those old school, like you hit, like it's got the little cassette tape in it and everything, right? And it's a message from, I think from Shruti, and just like something like, yeah, that was pretty fun last night. I'll see you in class or something like that. And we see him like listen to it a couple times. Like there's almost nothing on the tape, right? It's literally like a 5-second message, but he's just listening to it over and over again.
I think when Gail gets back, I've written a note on his door that just says, "Dude, your flat smells like smoke."
Nice.
And
cool.
I think that next morning,
Okay.
like Joe tries to call Amelia, and like voicemail.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ominous cannot get a hold of Amelia. And I'm sorry I did not bring Melissa in. I should have brought Melissa in.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, cool. So that's, I think we wrap on the like Amelia's voicemail being played over, and then like it's Shruti's voicemail being played, and then Amelia's voicemail being played, and then it like cuts to the song, right? The end credits. With like probably something off of the like squealy tape thing happens. And that's, we cut there.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys so much for playing.
Thanks, Kurt.
Awesome. So do we want to do like
I have a few minutes to do that stuff yeah.
Cool.
I'm cool.
Yeah. Do you want me to stop the recording for that, or do you want to be on? Okay, cool. I think I called it something different in this game, but that's okay. So Roses and Thorns, or Stars and Wishes. So everybody, I'm gonna go last. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So if anyone has any Stars and Wishes.
I liked, so first of all, I really liked the character generation stuff. I thought the malfunctions gave me immediately like a couple of things to play towards, but there was enough flexibility there, I think. I mean, so it's interesting, like you have us choose 3 out of 4, which means we're very heavily going into some trope for our, whatever our clique is, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think we have too much wiggle room to not play into that, right? Or to not have that there. Like I shouldn't say play into, like I don't feel like I was forced to play into it, because you give us like 2 very savory options to either play into the thing and get something, or not play into it, like play opposite of it and get something, right? And I really appreciate that aspect of the mechanics, because otherwise it would feel like, oh, it's just like hitting me with a hammer and forcing me to do a thing. So I really liked that, even though I don't feel like, and I even got to, I guess, experience it a little bit, which was cool. And it's the same thing with kind of like the strengths, although I have to admit, like, I don't think I really looked down at my strengths as much, but maybe it was just because we were having fun. Like I was having fun with the story where it was going, and I wasn't, I don't think I was gaming it as hard as I should. So first impression with the character generation was like, I felt like it did a good job in getting me where I needed to be very quickly. The ties were great. Like I felt like every question was like evocatively the thing I wanted to answer, right?
Nice.
So like all that was very positive. I will stop now and let someone else share.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I've seen anything in this genre exactly, and it wasn't anything I expected to love, but I kind of did. Like I've seen a few movies, but it had such a presence, I guess, with like the college life, very normal, and then like the magic, but it was magic in a almost like urban fantasy way, but very joyous and not particularly gritty.
Yeah.
And looking at the like the dice systems, I was expecting it to be a lot more complicated than it was.
Well, cool. Any negative things come up or places any hangups?
I'm a little curious how this would play long term because we've taken so many of the moves already. What do you picture advancement looking like?
So there's a PDF in that folder that I linked with that's called character advancement. And it has some of the things you can spend XP on. So for example, you can spend XP to once per grade, because there's freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. You guys are freshmen right now. Once per grade, you can transform a malfunction when it makes sense. So you spend 10 XP and you rewrite a malfunction into like a belief. So for instance, like the geeks, well, actually might become mentor. And instead of correcting people to sound smart, you take joy in helping people. And now you gain a heart and an XP when you hit it.
Oh.
But it's like
I haven't played Girl Underground, but this sounds like it might be.
It was that mechanic specifically was definitely inspired by the beliefs and the manners. But yeah, so that's
interesting, because Girl Underground isn't really meant for long-term campaign play either.
So the other
like
things you can,
the idea that we would progress through years seems like it would take a while.
Yeah, it definitely have to spread out over like several sessions. The other things you can do is increase your traits by once per grade, and grades are every 20 XP. It's the Savage Worlds XP brackets, and then there are more strengths that you could buy. So like currently using magic in a fight is a little dangerous. Like if you wanted to throw a fireball at somebody, you have a good chance of hurting yourself as well. If you buy into magical defense course, you gain the fictional positioning to use magic in a fight without hurting yourself by default. And then there's other things like sleuth, or actually I changed them. So it's like intro to the arts, where you're an artist and you pick an art style. And then like one of the things that you can get is art is pain. So you can use indigo to do conjuration magic because you funneling your sadness into the things you create, kind of stuff. A bunch of little things, right? Like the first one in the magical defense course is called Shield, and it lets you mark stress to make it easier to resist conditions. So because you basically say like, I use magic to get out of the way, and then it makes it cheaper when you spend heart. So that's kind of where the progression goes.
I'll say that I'm a little bit like I'm a little bit hesitant with how complex the mechanics kind of feel like they might go. But at the same time, kind of like Sarah, I felt like I was hesitant in the beginning, and I was kind of like it was a lot easier than I thought it would be, right? So cute, rat. So yeah, like I don't know, like when I say it's complex, like keep in mind, I think Blades in the Dark is complex as shit. Like for me, that's a game that's way too hard for me to run because like I can't be bothered to like read all that stuff. But I don't feel like it's ever been not fun to play. Right. So like it's one of those games that as a player I can totally enjoy as long as someone else is kind of managing some of that mind space for me. And I don't feel like this would be any different. Like I feel like it was very easy to like all the stuff that was not mechanical, that was like the words around the mechanics. Like I was like, oh, I can just like, it made it very easy to dive into that. Like looking at even at like the colors and the other stuff, it was just like, oh, I can, like I know narratively how I can play with this, and I appreciated that.
Cool.
I'm going to say, no, okay. I'm going to say, I mean, there's a fair bit here, not in a bad way, but like there's malfunctions, there's magic, there's tides, there's strengths. So it's a bit like Urban Shadows in that you can have a good one shot, but it's going to sing when you have a 3 or 6 session arc. And I think, because I didn't mention half of this stuff that's on my character sheet, and that's not a criticism. It's just, it's designed for a longer arc, which, Buffy is, Sabrina is, and all that. So that's all cool. My own game's the same, so I suffer from the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's all cool. Everyone played really well. I got a sort of solid idea how we all were. I feel like we neglected Gale a bit. If I get to play again, we'll try and draw him in more. But kudos to team for that, because it's easy to play the big stud and sleep around in that, but he just kept doing that awkward dorky guy, and it's like, oh no. It's like watching a train wreck.
It's not that hard for me to play the dorky guy.
But it's entertaining as hell, so that was cool. And it seemed like Joe was sort of having a moral dilemma, whether it be this dodgy wheeler dealer or be the good friend that to the guys he went to school with and that. So that was cool to watch as well. Kurt was obviously familiar with the genre and the systems. Yeah, it was all good.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Were you going to say something, Sarah?
Oh yeah.
I think I was, but I don't remember what it was. So,
Then,
yeah.
Go.
The colors and the emotions is interesting, and I know there have been games that have dealt with similar mechanics. I guess that one that Fraser Simons did. It's the one that comes immediately to mind. Yeah, I haven't played it, but I like that it has us consider our headspace. Although it does, like, you have to pause and think about that as well instead of just acting.
That is true. There is some cognitive load on each roll because you're thinking about how does my character feel about it. The only thing that I've noticed is that in a lot of games, when there's a lot of cognitive load around a roll, it's usually because you're trying to process like what modifiers you're supposed to add or what other thing you're supposed to, like what mechanics you're supposed to deal with. And the extra cognitive load here is how does my character feel right now?
Which feels worthwhile.
Yeah, that to me, it feels like I'm kind of okay with a little extra effort on the roll if it's giving you a better idea about how your character is engaging with the scene. But then again, if you feel like it slowed things down, like maybe that's something we have to look at.
I mean, not to the point that it was a hindrance. And I do feel like having to consider how my character thought about things like helped me figure out a little bit more concretely who he was. Yeah. So that was nice.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
And I did want to say one more thing about just that. Yeah, you were great, Kurt, because like I think like there was a lot of like you can tell immediately you started pulling some of our stories together, and I like the way you were. And like this goes to what Sarah said about that kind of like feel of the movie or the time period or whatever. I think not being like super gritty, and it kind of like felt like it was the right tone for that. What I was trying to go for, and I think some of the way you let us kind of like frame the scene, and then the way you brought elements together, I think that worked really well.
Yeah, there's definitely times when it's felt a little loose, as like GMing it, because I typically want to like find where the characters feel right, like where they like you said, let them frame the scene, and because so many RPGs focus on violence as a central conflict, and I try to stay away from violence as a central conflict, at least as like I try to not to jump to it. And so there's a lot of times when some of the earlier scenes feel a little fuzzy. And so it might be something where I need to write some guidelines on like, if you have a geek, run this kind of scene early. If you have a rebel, run this kind of scene early, to like make it a little easier to bring in that session 0. Because finding the characters, I feel like session 2, it's a little easier, right? Because now we know like, oh shoot, there's these guys out there that are looking for Zach. Like we've brought in some NPCs, like, so it's a little easier to sort of get past that. But like those early scenes, it's always a little fuzzy like that. So unless I do some hard framing, but I usually only do that in a one shot. And I should have treated this more like a one shot because I don't think any of you are going to be in the next 2 sessions. So to give you a little more satisfying ending, I should have treated it a little more like a one shot. But yeah. So I really appreciate you guys playing, and thank you so much for the feedback. Yeah, and so this is the Gauntlet. I didn't say it at the top, but if you're a fan of the Gauntlet, go to search for that, Gauntlet RPG. Tomes might be able to say more. And if you like Lighthearted and you like what you saw here today, you can find that on kurtpotts.itch.io/lighthearted. All right, thanks.